So 2 weeks ago, we tried making the double barrel burro. It tasted good, but it didn't really come out how I expected it to come out. Then, because we found a crazy deal on pork loin, we decided to make pork tacos. And those were crazy good. If you still haven't tried making them, I highly recommend you do so. It's easy, just a beef bouillon, water, and you're good to go. And because it was such a great deal, we were able to save some coin, which brought us to a total of $14.56. But because we have frozen leftover chicken from Costco in the fridge, we don't have to spend any money at all in this episode. So I thought, let's make a classic with this chicken. Arroz con pollo and tortillas. Here's the idea I have in my head. Make the masa and let it rest for 30 minutes. Then rinse our rice and cook that for 18 minutes. Then we will go ahead and make the small tortillas, which should take about 30 minutes, if all goes well. Then, with the cast iron skillet on the induction cooker set to max, we will add our water, then our chicken bouillon, mix it all well in there, add the chicken, hydrate the chicken, let the water boil away, and then brown our chicken. This will give us a moist chicken and a nice umami taste. This should take 20 minutes. And then, we serve. Now that I have it all written out, and I have some images to guide me along the way, I can begin gathering my tools that I'm going to use. And I think this is everything I will end up needing to use. But you might see some things pop in and out of the frame, here and there. Because my chicken's gonna be using my cast iron skillet, I will be using my non-stick pan to make the tortillas. If you think I'm cheating by using this pan, let me know. Let's deduct some coins from the bank. You make the rules. This is our game, and you're in control of my life. Have mercy. And just a small little side note before we begin, if you don't have a little tortilla holder like this one, you can use a kitchen towel. Before I was gifted one of these, I used to always just use a nice kitchen towel and put them in there and fold it. It kept it nice and warm. Golly, that was a lot of talking. Let's get to it. Step 1.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Watch this.
What the heck are you doing?
That's what I'm talking about.
I better go.
Put in the comments below how long you think it took me to make this meal. Am I getting better? We'll find out soon. I'm running out of corn flour, so I'm only going to use 1 cup. And with this, I hope I can get anywhere between 15 to 20 tortillitas. And if you're new to this, here's the drill to make delicious puffy tortillas. You add the salt to taste into the water, mix it nicely in there, and we add it, say it with me, gradually. And then knead, and mix nicely. Add water gradually, mix, gradually, a little bit more, gradually, mix, a little bit more.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
And there you have it. I added too much water. Again. I gotta stop while I'm ahead. But that's okay. You are better than me. And you know better by now. Do as many little ball tests as you need to do. And when that flat ball stops showing signs of cracks, your masa is ready to rest. Okay, so my masa now is too wet. What do? If it's extremely moist like in the last episode, let it rest with no cover on. But if it's a little bit over like this one, we'll come back to it in a few minutes. We'll make it into little balls and then we'll let that rest. And it should be ready by the time we have to use it. And we have to do this because if our masa is too wet when we try to use it and put it into the press, it'll stick to the Ziploc bag and it will be a humongous mess and we won't be able to work with it at all. So we'll come back to this in a bit. Let it rest and let's go to our next step. The rice, arroz. I'm only cooking for 2, so I will only need 1 cup, and I will use this glass to rinse my rice inside of it. This is gonna be super simple, no hiccups, and fast. Watch me. First thing we gotta do is turn to David Blaine and make this rice go into the glass. Where'd the rice go? It was in the glass the whole time. You didn't even see it. You didn't even see it. NAEY Illusions. That's a new channel idea. Juan, write that down. NAEY Illusions. So we have to rinse it until it goes from this sort of fogginess to a nice clear water that we can see right to the rice. Okay, so we tried the glassing. It doesn't work. Absolute horrible idea. Lost 25 minutes. Why would I even think that would work? There's no space to work. Don't be me. Do this in a bowl. Do this in some sort of sifter. Do it in an easier way. Do not use a glass. That is a horrible idea. I should have never come up with that. Oh boy, I thought I was so clever. Wowza, I am so behind schedule. Let's get that cast iron sizzling. At max heat, we're gonna add some oil, get our safety glasses on, and remember this rice has some water in it because we were rinsing it and it's not completely dried. So water and hot oil, dangerous. So be careful. As soon as we put this into the cast iron, we move it around and we ignore the pain. Mind over body. Now what am I looking for? Well, I need to see a small change of color in the rice. Not from white to yellow, not from white to brown. That's too far, you've burned it. But more of a translucent sort of thing. Sort of like a, not see-through, but let me show you. Hopefully the iPhone footage is showing just the change that it needs. When you first put it in there, it's bright white, solid. But once it's been cooking and it's cooked well, it'll have spots, many little spots that look like more grayish, if that makes sense. So look for that, and once you see it, and before it starts burning, we have to add the water. And the ratio for white long grain rice is 2 cups of water per 1 cup of rice. As soon as we add our water, we have to just remember to stir it. Stir nice and well so nothing sticks to the bottom and burns. And we're just gonna wait for that water to boil. Once it starts to boil, we bring that temperature down to 140 Fahrenheit, 170. I actually don't know in Fahrenheit. I just know in numbers of power. So I'm gonna bring mine down to number 2 in my induction cooker because that's low. If I put it at number 1, it's just not cooking. And I'm gonna let this rest for 18 minutes. I'll come back then and check if it's ready. But in the meantime, do you remember what we have to do? Masa balls. We have to make this big ball of masa into small little balls of masa and hope that it'll lose some of its moisture. Because if the dough is too moist, because if the corn dough is too moist when I'm working with it, it'll just stick to the Ziploc bag, it'll be impossible to handle, and even when we're cooking it, it might not cook evenly. It'll take either too long or it'll be too soft, and when we do those flips and we're trying to get the puff, it'll escape through some sort of weakness that it has in the dough and we'll be in trouble. So we're now gonna help these masa balls balance out. 16. Which should be more than plenty for the 2 of us. Close that up. Clean as we go. And check on our rice. It's been 18 minutes, and if I listen closely, I can hear a little bit of bubbling still, which means, yep, there is still a little bit of liquid at the bottom. So still on low, I'm just gonna close the lid, and I'm gonna come back in 2 minutes and check. And sure enough, our rice is ready. So turn it off, put the rice to the side, and thankfully it's on cast iron, so it's gonna continue to cook even a little bit more, so I'm gonna let it just be. And now we can move on to the tortillitas. Sorry, the tortillitas. Follow me, and remember one thing, practice makes perfect. I'm gonna cook using anywhere between 140 and 180 degrees Celsius, which is between 240 and 300 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe? No! All thanks to you, because in the comments, you mentioned that 100 degrees Celsius, 210 Fahrenheit, is pretty low. It's boiling point. It causes the steam, which is what we're looking for, but it is pretty low. So I reconsidered, we tried a higher heat, and I'm a huge fan of the higher heat. It cooks them quicker, and it adds this nice browning to them. Oh, the char, it's all about the char. That's the secret. That's the Mexican uy mami, uy uy uy, for short. I digress. All we need is enough temperature to cause a boil effect, or I guess in this case, a steam effect within the middle of the tortilla. We need steam to build up around the middle, and then try to escape. With the pan hot and ready, and I forgot to do the water test. Sorry experts, water test is just a little bit of water. If it dances around, you're good to go. We get our press, check our masa one more time, see if it's too moist, too dry. If it needs a little bit more water, I always have a little bit of water next to me, ready to go. We press lightly, not too hard. These tortillas need to be just a tiny bit thick, like a millimeter or 2. Carefully remove it from the Ziploc bag by grabbing that edge, and we put it down away from us. Try not to toss your tortilla, it'll rip, especially if it's moist and wet like this one, because it's pretty sticky to your hands, so just a gentle down motion. Now as I'm playing with this first one, it already seemed a little bit too moist, and sure enough, as I cooked it, there's a sign. Plus, as I look at my tortilla, I can see little wet spots throughout it, telling me this is very, very wet. So just a little bit more heat, leave the tortilla on for a little bit longer, and that should fix this problem. And remember, just like pancakes, most flatbreads, the first one is always a write-off, so don't worry. Now if your tortilla does this, or it doesn't even puff at all, don't worry, it's okay. Just leaving it on the heat for like 2 to 3 minutes, flipping it twice, 3 times, that's enough. It cooks it well enough, you get the taste, and once you move that into the tortillero, where you place the tortillas, or the kitchen towel, or your bowl, it'll continue to cook there for a tiny little bit. It'll become nice and flexible, so don't stress too much if it doesn't puff. Just keep practicing, don't give up, and check your temperature and moisture level. And if this happens to you, you can always just use a kitchen towel and...
Chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions.
Sometimes that even ends up working to your advantage. You end up finding the leak, the pressure ends up binding that leak or closing it, and then it just puffs without you having to press on it. This is basically what happened to this one, and that was awesome. So now that I got to see how my first masa ball reacted, I know that the next few, I'll have to cook them at a higher heat and leave them on there for longer. And that's what I will try to do. But to save time, I'm also going to start trying to cook 2 at a time, because these are small tortillas. It should work, I hope it works, but they are going to be fighting for heat now, so we'll see if it works. So first flip, we wait, and... Yeah, baby! That's what I'm talking about. Now we can really start speeding through these. 2 at a time? You kidding me? I'm gonna make some time back with this. That's awesome. Small important note, when you're pressing your tortilla, keep an eye out for the edges. You'll see if it's drying out because those edges will start to look rougher and rougher and rougher the less moisture is in the masa. And also aim for this sort of thickness. It can't be extremely flat. It needs to be a little bit thick so that that moisture will build up pressure and steam, and then it'll have room to expand. So I always aim for this sort of consistent sort of thickness, which is about like 1 millimeter, maybe? I don't know, I'm not a carpenter, but when you know, you know. And this is what I know. I look for this sort of thickness. You can pause the video and try to imitate the thickness of my tortilla, or... Not a bad puff, eh? And I believe you can do it too. Here's a few of the signs you can look for to know when to flip it and cause that puff. So within the 30 seconds, get that first flip in there, and then just wait. Eventually, you're gonna start to see some changes in the tortilla. More specifically, some bubbles. Give it a few more seconds, let that steam build, let the pressure build, and then flip it. And if all goes well, the steam's gonna try to escape. It won't have anywhere to escape but up and puff. That is so cool. Try it. Let me know if it works for you. Is it time for a tortilla montage? No, it's not. I'm just gonna show you a bunch of tortillas and move on to the next step, because we're already way behind schedule. Keep practicing and don't give up. And remember, every pan is different, from non-stick to cast iron to stainless steel. They're all gonna react differently, so you gotta just experiment and try different techniques and different times. Sometimes it takes 30 seconds for that first flip. Other times it could be 60. Other times it might be 15. Then after the first flip, it might take anywhere between 1 minute to 3, maybe 4 minutes for the second flip. You gotta wait to see the signs of the ring around the middle or the bubbles. And every heat source is different as well. Flame's different than induction, than electric, than friction, which is very different than the sun.
Shut up about the sun! Shut up about the sun!
The point is, don't give up. Try and master the tools you have at home. You can make a tortilla puff with pretty much anything, as long as the masa is moist enough and the heat surface gets hot enough. Oh, and not all pans are going to be able to create a magnificent puff like this. I don't think I've gotten a puff like this from my cast iron skillet, and my other non-stick pans are also not as great as this one. So don't get discouraged if yours don't puff up like a balloon like these ones. Just one little reminder before we move on. If you're using one of these tortilleros, these tortilla holders, just remember to clean it periodically, because the water will build up inside. And if you don't have a cover, like a linen or what, I don't know what to call it. If you don't have anything inside of there, just tortillas, it's gonna get extremely wet. And wet tortillas is a no-no. That is gross. Take them out, clean it, put them back in, and do it as fast as you can do it so that you don't lose the heat from the tortillas too much. And there we go. 16 tortillas. And what is that? What is that? A tortilla for ants? Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So let's get that pan to max, add some water, get that to a boil, add the chicken bouillon, and mix. Now we add the chicken, move it around nicely for a minute to make sure all the chicken gets some of the juices in there, and then we just let it rest. And the goal here is 3. To moisten the chicken, to separate the fibers of the chicken so it's easier to pull, and to flavor the chicken. So we're gonna wait for all of this delicious water to boil away. Just leave it and come back later. Or stay close by, because you don't want to burn down your kitchen. But once it has all boiled away, we're not done yet. Still, leave it on there on high heat, because now I want to get some searing on the bottom of the chicken. I want some browning. I want some delicious umami. So just leave it, stay close by, smell it. It'll start to smell charred. And when it looks like this, yeah. That's it. It's ready. So it's time to serve. My original plan was to make my platter look like this. I was so stoked, but because I took 2 hours cooking, obviously I forgot my original plan and I just did this instead. But it still works. So here it is, my version of Mexican rice with chicken and tortillitas. But we forgot something really important. Were you able to catch it? The rice has no seasonings on it. No salt, no bouillon. Huge mistake. Never do that. So we definitely have to season this with salt because it's not fully ready for us. Regardless, the taste of this, I can't lie to you, it was really good. I loved it, and I'm not a big chicken lover. My wife absolutely loved it. It's one of her favorite dishes, rice and chicken. She always goes for it. And this hit all the right notes for her. And one of the reasons why this will always be a crowd pleaser if somebody likes chicken is because the chicken is not dry. Now I'm gonna add a new reward to this game of ours. Because with this meal, I made enough food to feed me and my wife for 2 days. So whenever I make enough food to feed myself for 2 days, or maybe even 3, I will give myself 5 coins. Because I'm saving money by having leftovers for next day. If we add all of these coins now, for next episode, I should be able to spend this much. Of course, that's if you don't penalize me for using a non-stick pan, which I don't technically own yet, right? I haven't unlocked it, or any other tool that I haven't genuinely unlocked yet. All of these tools will require a certain amount of coins to unlock, and when we get there, we will show the big reward and reveal on screen. But you let me know. You're in control of this game. We're in it together. Comments are down below. And if there's something I can do better, please let me know. I love learning from you experts so much. Your comments have genuinely made me a much better cook. So thank you so much. Come back for the next episode in a few days. You're not going to believe what crazy deal I found at my local grocery store here around the corner. Usually this ingredient is never on the shelves. Now they have it on, and it was on discount. So we're going to make one of my favorite salsas with a crazy hack that I'm surprised more people don't try or teach on YouTube. Usually these videos that I've been watching make salsas way too complicated. Next video, we make it extremely easy. Just one cast iron skillet. Until then, hasta luego.